Let's dash across straight to the Morningstar Investor Conference where Sanjoy Bhattacharyya is explaining his market philosophy.
So right now, all of us are scared of being left out, the fear of missing out. This is what I call a FOMO market. Every single guy sitting here knows this is a bloody expensive market. They should be getting the hell out of here. Not one guy is selling. They're all sitting tight because they all believe that every time I sell, I'll miss out. The stock market is higher 1 week later. So how can I sell? And in the end, when they have the skin taken off their backs and they're bleeding, they expect sympathy. This is a gigantic paradox. But it's a constant paradox. People don't seem to learn. And those who don't pay attention to the lessons of history are doomed to repeat them. As I'm sure some of you will in this room. This is not to scare you. This is just to provide philosophical basis for rationality. So actually, if you think about it, our forefathers, so if they heard a noise behind them, a whisper, a whisper or a rustle, they felt that there was a tiger hiding in the bush. So there was this response that immediately they fled because they wanted to survive, right? That same kind of basic evolutionary paradigm persists even today. So the fear of being killed used to drive their behavior, that is running from where they were. That same emotion is very important even for human beings in the financial markets, exactly the same thing. Except that we have lost our fear. Only the greed remains. When you should be, everyone loves quoting Buffett. The greatest book of quotations that ever exists is on Buffett. I mean, Buffett is he's the grandfather of all quotations. There is no investment conference I go to where I don't learn 32 new Buffett quotations. And in my ripe old age, that's about 320. But the fact of the matter is, one of Buffett's most famous quotations, which nobody cares a hoot about, is he said, when others are greedy, you need to be fearful. When others are fearful, you need to be greedy. No, we don't do that. We're much smarter than Mr. Buffett. Buffett is a bozo, yaar. How did he get this wrong? When others are greedy, be even more greedy. Because your behavior will be rewarded in the short term. Tomorrow you will be wealthier on paper. Isn't that the lesson? I'm sure I got this right. Okay. And then finally, they did this on patients who had serious damage done to them, neurological damage, where they couldn't experience certain things because of, an ailment that they had or a chronic condition that they had. And they saw that people, for instance, where fear had been eliminated, very frequently ended up almost killing themselves because they didn't know something to be scared about. So if a guy came next to them with a knife and said, I'm going to kill you, they said, go ahead. Because they didn't know fear. There's a guy called Antonio Damasio, Spinoza's whatever. I mean, if you type his name, you'll get to read about him. He's one of the greatest neurologists come cognitive philosophers that you'll have, and he talks about this. That if you remove fear, it distorts behavior. And you are at much greater risk of doing yourself damage once your emotions get disconnected from your thought process. So, it's vital that you have it. We don't need to go through this. This is way too academic. Let's get to the... Why doesn't this work? Yup. Okay. So, I felt like I was experiencing Richard Thaler's biography firsthand. It's called Misbehaving. And that's what I thought this thing was doing.